You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let the crash out begin. Let the crash out begin because the Cleveland Browns organization has started what I would refer to as the softening up of the Browns fan base to the idea that Deshaun Watson is going to be their starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And now you've got, when you've got multiple people coming out on the same day, there's things floating out of that Browns building now. And the Mary Kay Cabot report, look, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I keep saying it so people understand because I've already seen, here we go, Mary Kay Cabot, Tony Grossi, they're going to make up things. They're going to make up sources. No, they're all friends with these people. I cannot get that across to people enough. They're all friends with the Todd Monkens and the Andrew Berries and the Jimmy Haslams and the OCs and the quarterback coaches. They know what's going on because they're being told this. It's leaking to them. And I believe this is intentional because this is the softening up process. This is starting to make its way everywhere now. Deshaun Watson came out of Browns minicamp as the favorite to be QB1. I mean, wow. Wow. But here we go. All right. Right here, Mary Kay Cabot. How Deshaun Watson emerged from voluntary minicamp with an edge over Shedeur Sanders, sources say, and has an inside track to be QB1. She followed that up by saying, with my breaking news here that Deshaun Watson has taken over the lead from Shedeur Sanders in the Browns QB competition, has the inside track to win it. I think they should declare him QB1 ASAP and let the first team offense start to cook. There's no time to waste. She's telling the fan base they've basically made their decision already. Then, on the Rizzo show today.
Deshaun looks great, by the way. Mm-hmm. When you guys were ever out there, he's done a great job. He looks healthy.
Did you hear Rizzo? Rizzo said, yeah, that's what we heard.
He's in a great headspace. We'll see how it all shakes out. There is an ongoing competition, but, he's got nothing to lose. And if he's our starting quarterback, I know there are people that probably won't be supportive, but they should need to be supportive as much as they can. And if he plays great, then, hey, awesome. If he doesn't, then, it is what it is, and we're looking ahead to the future.
Okay, so I'm starting to build a theory now that Todd Monken got this job based on the fact that he sold to Jimmy Haslam that he could repair Deshaun Watson. I think that's why he got this job. I think that's why he ended up being the favorite out of nowhere, because I believe he was like, they asked him about quarterback, and he said, well, I'll tell you what. I think I can make Deshaun Watson back into a Pro Bowl quarterback. And Jimmy Haslam, I'm sure, because of all the money that has been spent and all the resources, said, here we go. Now, you guys know I've been very vocal. I don't want to see this. Does anybody want to see Deshaun Watson on the field ever again? Really? Groper Cleveland? We want to see Groper Cleveland back on the field. I don't. I don't want to see late night sneaky Unk back on the field. No. But it sounds like, look, when you start getting reports like this out from local media, they're preparing the fan base. They're tenderizing the fan base right now. Deshaun Watson emerged from minicamp last week with the early lead Todd Monken hopes to declare or at least identify his starting QB by the end of mandatory minicamp, which is June 9th through 11th. Yeah, look at this. This is hilarious. Browns QB room. Out with Deshaun Watson. Then Deshaun Watson standing behind. This is not. Wow. Deshaun Watson leading the QB competition is a sentence nobody had on their 2026 bingo card. Absolutely no one. Cleveland Browns next season. I haven't seen that one in a long time. When we were covering the Deshaun Watson massage scandal and all the lawsuits, I used the Bill Cosby meme a lot in my thumbnails. It got a lot of play. This is hilarious because Deshaun Watson sucks, and absolutely no one is surprised he's beating Shedeur in camp. This can't be serious. It's either to build Watson trade value or keep the grips on Shedeur, because the Browns use this strategy to keep him humble, but he will be the starter. You guys got to stop now, officially. Officially. I'm telling you right now, if you want to see Shedeur Sanders play, it's officially time for Sanders fans to root for a trade. And again, the irony in all of this is the coach that supposedly hated him the most, if he would have stayed, Stefanski, Shedeur would have been the quarterback. He'd have been the quarterback. They wouldn't have Watson and all up in this unless Haslam has given a directive that we don't know about, which is possible. No shit, Mary Kay. This is why they paid him $250 million. He is the starter. MKC, honestly, you need to get off this platform with your terrorist threats of that bum seeing the field. You seem to love to lift up every other bum-ass QB on the roster but Shedeur. Instead, coming out with false claims. You guys have got to stop that shit. She's hearing this from the Browns. What? I don't get it. I don't. If she made that up, they wouldn't let her back in there. Into that facility to talk to anybody. This came from the Browns to soften the fan base up. The Browns fan base and the Shedeur's fan base. They are letting you know right now. What good does this do long term? It doesn't. I don't get it. Maybe he is the better quarterback. So if he goes out there and he balls out, let's say Watson has a roaring comeback. 28 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,800 yards. Browns go 10-7. Sneak in, 7th spot of the playoffs. You giving that dude 35, 40, 55 million a year? You re-signing that dude? That dude? The handyman? You're re-signing that guy. Forget the excitement of our new draft picks and embrace the warm stench of Watson. I love this. Please give credit where credit is due and cite your sources. Who broke this story first? She's not gonna give out her sources because she'd never get another story again. What is? That's how this works. They slip sources to the local beat reporter or the local. In her case, I mean, she goes on national platforms. They sneak this stuff out so they can get it out. Look how early it is. April 29th, 2026. They just told you Deshaun Watson's probably going to be the starting quarterback. So get ready. And by the time we get to the start of the season, the backlash and all of that will be over with. Maybe. Maybe. And I will tell you this much. I think there's a chance Shedeur gets traded. I think there's a chance if this happens that he actually asks to be traded. And I got to thinking about spots earlier. And do you know the one spot I said, you know, what's kind of weird is I'm not sold on Cam Ward. And I actually said I thought Shedeur played better than Cam last year. I was like, why not ask to get traded? Maybe you could get traded to the Titans and try to learn. And then I realized, well, guess what? Brian Daboll's the offensive coordinator there that wants nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders because of how he blew that Giants interview in the combine, which, by the way, is what tanked his stock, along with not wanting to throw, bad interview with another team besides that, all of it. See, that's the problem with that entire situation. You closed doors to other teams. You know, Arizona, maybe. Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Brissett, you'd have a kind of a puncher's chance there. Wow. Deshaun Watson. Oh, Deshaun Bill Cosby himself, Watson. He actually had a special called himself, right? Isn't that right, Bill Cosby? Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.